height of America's Most Wanted, did the WWE ever try to reach out to both of you and try to bring you in to be that tag team?
Um, I no, I can't say that. I don't not that I'm aware of that they reached out. I know that during one of our contract negotiations, we sometimes we call it feelers. We kind of felt it out to see if there was any interest, and it came back that there was. So I can't say that they contacted us, but when we kind of explored, we heard that there was some interest in bringing us in. But I know at that time we decided to stay. We didn't want to go anywhere. We wanted to stay with TNA. So that's really as far as it got. So yeah, we were very happy with what we were doing.
Because there's certain tag teams I feel like in wrestling. America's Most Wanted is one of them, and the Briscoes are the other, in my opinion, that never came over to the WWE during like a point where they were just probably throwing money at people to be like bring you in. Like I was always shocked that America's Most Wanted never went. But again, loyalty obviously worked out for you as well because your singles career, though, in TNA was, I felt to me personally, like maybe you obviously have a different perspective, was stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. James Storm would get injured. They would they'd put you into the main event scene. You'd have great matches against Christian and other athletes like that. But then they'd stop that and then they'd kick back. It was very hard to be into what was happening because it felt like I didn't know if they knew what was happening. What was your experience with like that? Because it always felt like you were going to become world champion and then you weren't.
Well, we had one run there in the Asylum days, which Storm was hurt. He was on the shelf, and I'm thankful that they were still willing to do something instead of keeping me on the shelf as well. And Storm was by my side through all of it. But that's when we did kind of a little title run, not title run, but a quest for the title.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was in there at that point. I was in there with some key players, Raven and R Truth, Ron Killings, AJ, Jeff Jarrett. So I was in there with our top guys and going for that title, and we went. I had a great run with Jeff. That's probably one of my favorite matches of my career. The world title NWA world title match I had with him, and because people believed it. Usually when you take a guy out of a tag team and he's has a quest for a title, you kind of know that that's probably not going to go in his favor. It can set up some exciting matches, but that's usually as far as it goes. And with me, I mean, the story was there, the build was there, and I felt like I was delivering. So the people were really into the fact that hey, this could be my time, and I could actually win the world title from Jeff Jarrett. So that run was, I mean, I thought that was incredible. That was great. I think the really there was a couple things that happened there. I mean, one Storm, he's not going to be injured forever, so he was getting healthier. But also that was also when we started on Fox Sports, and
Hmm.
so from us going to the weekly pay per views, and we are actually going to get a TV deal. The company kind of looked at it like okay, we want our best players in the key spots, and no matter what was going on at that time, it was like okay, we need our best tag team in the tag team division. So
Okay.
so right away, we were put back together, and I think the very first show is when we won the tag team titles. We were in the tag team division. Jeff Jarrett, because well established. He was in the heavyweight title picture, and then they took AJ back to the X division because they just wanted like I said, all the
Yeah.
key players in the right spots, and so that's kind of how a lot of that shuffling happened.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed that run, and even though it didn't get me the world title, what it did for me for a tag team wrestler and at that point, very successful tag team wrestler, it just kind of gave me back the confidence that I felt that I had for a singles run. If that ever presented itself to me again, and I believe that the people would be with me, and so it boosted my confidence. That's all. But I was very happy to go back to America's Most Wanted. We had so much more to do. We were only a couple of years in at that point, I think. So there was so much more to do with the tag team. But then, yeah, later on, I mean, once we actually did split, yeah, I started on a really good run. You mentioned the match with Christian, and I was in the King of the Mountain. I was in the King of the Mountain for the first
Yep.
run. The the very first King of the Mountain, and then in '07, I was in that King of the Mountain again. Top players: AJ Styles, Christian, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle. I mean, I was in was some our top stars. So yeah, I thought something really big was coming out of that, and you got my match with Christian, but then yeah, it just started kind of sinking down there, which is what led to the eventual exit. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was so many start and stops. Just just that one earlier run, and then
Mm.
towards the end, my that last run. But yeah, I was happy with all those spots.
Perhaps I was too forward with my stop go stop go stop go because I was just I was a big supporter. I was a big supporter. So when I that Jeff Jarrett match, I really did believe at one point. I think you do I think it's a leap like a huge lariat, and at that one I was like, oh, it's over. Like he's got this. He's got this. But yeah, that eventually America's Most Wanted does break up, and in history, it feels like we've been conditioned for this, and it's not true, is the comparison of Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty. Like people use that as like the starting point of a tag team breaking up. With James Storm and you breaking up, I didn't feel like that was the case at all. You both went off and you did your own thing. But when you have a storyline that you're blinded and you're wearing an eye patch, and you have this Texas death match with James Storm, where there's blood everywhere, and I feel like this is like the Praise Chris Harris podcast because again, this is top 10 TNA matches of all time. People compare it to your blindfold match and they didn't really enjoy that, but boy, did they enjoy this Texas Death Match. What was the concept, and were you happy about America's Most Wanted breaking up?
What was that last question? I kind of lost you there for a
Oh,
second.
I'm sorry. America's Most Wanted, was it your idea to break up or was it somebody else's?
Um, it was I guess, a collaboration. There had been talk. It seemed like every year, talk of breaking us up, and Storm and I always kind of went to bat for ourselves and just said, hey, we feel like we have some more that we can do, and so we try to push it as long as we can. And it just came a point where we were like, maybe it's time to. You never know when the right time is, but we just thought maybe it's time. We'll give it a shot and see what happens. And so yeah, I was definitely on board with it. I was just what we were talking about before. I had a taste of that the singles success, so I was curious to see what I could do. I'm sure Storm felt the same. So yeah, we were just gonna try to see what happened, and had a I just thought the story was really good, and with the blinding and the beer bottle, and me chasing him for a few months. But yeah, once we got to that Texas death match, man, people were just ready for it. I think that's a lot of the reason it just stood out, because people were ready for us to get in there and just tear each other apart. And that's what we did. Storm and I just we knew what it meant. We knew that, hey, the tag team's done. There's no going back now. So we need to go out there and show what we can do in singles. And so we took it out on each other, and we're happy to do it. So yeah, what a match, man! It's definitely one of my favorites. Probably one of my more brutal ones, but just that rush, that feeling that you get once it's over, and know what you have done. That makes up for it all. But yeah, it was just yeah, it felt so good, and I felt like we were on our way. But yeah, it was just I was definitely on board with the breakup. But it was all talked about amongst us, just see where everybody stood on it. But yeah, that was it was kind of a group effort, I guess.
Man, when you hit James Storm with a spear through the ropes through a table, and that is a nasty looking spot. And after this type of match, you're going backstage, everyone's probably high fiving you, whatever. But when you come down, how is your body feeling after putting in such a brutal match like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard. You can ask any of the competitors, when something as intense and rough as that, it is hard to come down. You're riding the high of the success, but you got to look at some of the factors. I mean, we lost a lot of blood, so I mean, you gotta take care of yourself there. And rehydrate and just make sure you're good. And we were banged up, so we probably had people checking on us throughout the night. Just whether we were cussed or not, or things like that. So um, yeah, I mean it is hard to come down. I know there were times especially down in the down in Orlando. After those, a lot of times we're going out having a good time after the shows, especially a event like that. But there were a couple of times. I don't know if this was one of them, but I remember there being a couple times where I didn't even make it out just because just feeling woozy, or just not feeling great, and just making sure I got something to eat and drink, and just trying but yeah, it takes an effect on you. So it's sometimes hard to come down, but um, yeah, you're just riding that high, man. So you don't even, be honest with you, and it's just coming from me, but you don't even care. You'll go through a night like that, or 2 nights, or whatever it takes. You'll take the bumps and the bruises, and you'll anything that comes with it, because you can't erase what just happened and the magic that you just did. And especially the Texas death match. I mean, Storm and I were so proud of that, and it didn't matter how much we felt like shit that night or the next day. We're just so proud about it, and